All right. After a recap of First Class attacking PCO during his date with Steph DeLander is shown, backstage DJ Who Kid catches up with AJ Francis and Rich Swann. Who Kid gives them the International Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, which Killer Kowalski, The Sheik, Mad Dog Vachon, Abdullah the Butcher, and Dino Bravo, and others have held. AJ Francis declares himself the new International Heavyweight Champion. And Francis says Rich Swann will beat Nick Nemeth tonight. Who Kid gives them drinks to celebrate. It was Gin and Juice by Dr. Dre. I don't think they got a sponsorship. I think they're trying to angle for a sponsorship there, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty clever. But they gave free advertising to the Gin and Juice brand. Okay, guys, I cannot tell you how much I love this angle with the International Heavyweight Championship. I adore this angle. I think it's one of the best things they've done in a long time. Now, you guys have to know that I'm a big fan of pro wrestling history. But I read Pat LaProde's Andre the Giant book, and in that book, that basically they gave you the rundown of wrestling history in Montreal, and it was tremendous. And so when they brought this out, I was like, oh, that's so good. That is so good. He brought that belt back, which I like. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's the International Heavyweight belt. I legit knew that. So now I don't know if it's the carbon copy. It might have been a remake, but I love that. And he's doing it just to be a dick to Montreal. Like that is awesome. That is such a cool angle for a mid-card, like a mid-card feud, and it's going to get such good heat in Montreal. And PCO is already starting to hype it up and get people mad at AJ Francis. And I think Francis was the right heel to go with. I get the feeling the original plan was for Cardona and PCO in Montreal. That's what I think. But since Cardona got hurt, they pivoted to AJ Francis, and I feel like that's been a good pivot. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to put the International Heavyweight Championship on the line. You know, AJ Francis defending against PCO. Now, he declared himself the champion, and it's not a recognized title. But I think that's where they're going to go, and that way PCO can get the victory, win the international title, because that's important to him because of the history of Montreal wrestling and the lineage of that title with Dino and all Killer Kowalski and Thez and, you know, all those people that have held the title before. That's going to be more important to PCO than the digital media championship. So I think they can do the match. No digital media title on the line. It's for the International Heavyweight Championship. PCO can win, and then AJ Francis can keep the digital media title. I think that's perfect. I love that. In fact, I'm going to call for this, and I've been calling for a new mid-card title, upper mid-card title to be taken seriously, to where main eventers who are not actively vying for the TNA championship, for them to be able to compete with. Because guys like Steve Macklin they should not be doing X Division stuff. You know, guys like Hammerstone, I don't want them in the X. I want X Division title, the championship, to be around like the, you know, with some exceptions, but mostly super young, lightweight. I like Leon Slater. I want Leon Slater's speedballs, Mustafa Ali, you know, those type of guys, like lighter weight. And then of course on the younger side, I like having young up and coming talents fighting for that title. And once, you know, say like once Mustafa Ali is done in the X Division, but he's not ready for the main event, he's not ready for the World Heavyweight Championship, you know, he can be vying for the international title. You know what I mean? Like when Hammerstone gets back, if he ever comes back, I think he will. You know, if he didn't have, you know, if they don't have him booked for a main event feud, maybe he could try to feud for the international title. I think that's what that title should be. Like the United States title in WCW. Back in the day when Sting wasn't the World Heavyweight Champion and he needed some stuff to do, like he would be in some good feuds and stuff. Like he did stuff with like Jake Roberts and like stuff like that. But there for a while, he was the United States champion. While he wasn't competing for wasn't competing for the World Heavyweight title. I think that's what that can be. Now, hold on, Lucha is about to get lit up. I'm not going to go JD on Lucha, but he says, I agree, Mike, but the DMC can be that. Okay. Fuck no, it can't. that title was dead the moment it was created. It was dead. They put every geek that they had in that tournament to tell you that that title was not important. That title's a pre-show title. It's meant for social media. Now, I know Cardona held the title, and I thought he was a good champion. And Joe Hendry held the title. I thought he was a good champion. But their matches were comedy matches, and their matches were jokes. And it was meant to just be something for Twitter and for YouTube and stuff like that. I don't think that the digital media title will ever become that. I think they dug a hole with that title. It's never going to be important. Now, if you give the international title to PCO, look, it's been tough because AJ Francis bought the thing from Gino Brito and kind of brought it back. But that title has some lineage, and they can, now they have a history of champions that they can run down. You know what I mean? And if they want to go back to Montreal, it'll be back. But the digital media title is dead. But I like what they're doing with AJ Francis is the perfect digital media champion, and he can take it around to the indies and shoot angles with it, and they'll just put matches on Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that, and it's a pre-show title, much like the Knockouts tag titles.